Last week on Saffy Sprocket, I travelled into Poland, and against my better judgment, I started to veer off the main roads and into a more isolated area. In case you're out of the loop, several weeks ago I had a great idea to tour around Europe to raise money for the Northwest Air Ambulance. Though I am really excited to share with you that we are currently at 75% of the target, so please do give generously. You can find more information about this at the end of the video, and you can also find a link in the description where you can donate to the charity if you think my suffering is worth the cause. But for now, back to the video.
My bag is caught in my brake disc. Oh. Oh my god. Oh.
Eventually I came off my bike and I had to go through the grueling task of getting everything back together. Now, I was a little bit shaken up after coming off my bike, probably more than I'd like to admit. However, I was still determined to make it to the base of the Tatras mountains by the morning, so I decided to persevere onwards and upwards. However, this time round I decided to stick to, well, I guess what you could call the main roads. It wasn't long until I eventually started to veer towards the tracks once more. I rode for hours and hours straight with very few stops, and I was determined to continue east, and I wanted to get towards the base of the mountains before the dark hit. However, one of the biggest issues with motor touring in winter is that you're constantly fighting against nightfall. When it got to 5 PM, I knew I had about 45 minutes until the dark hit, and so I pulled off the road and found a suitable place to camp. I always try to be as honest as I can when I'm out on the road travelling, and that means some days I'm happy and excited and ready for adventure, and some days it means that I'm struggling. This was one of those days in which I was really struggling. Although physically I was completely fine after my crash earlier in the day, I was still bruised up and my entire right side of my body was sore. At the time of the crash, because of the adrenaline spike, I was completely unaware of the pain, and although I did wait an hour before continuing on with my journey, by the time I was back on the road I'd already taken ibuprofen and my heated clothing was keeping the pain at bay. Now that I'd pulled over to set up base at the bottom of the mountains, I was definitely aware of just how sore I was and how much the coldness was excavating that pain. As you can probably tell from my face in the video, I was struggling. I was struggling a lot. Nightfall was creeping in faster than I could have anticipated, and by this point in the evening, temperatures had started to drop to -1. The pain in my shoulder was becoming excruciating with the cold, and I had finally reached the point in my tour where I'd hit a mental brick wall. At that moment, all I could think about was how cold I was, how far away from home I felt, and how truly alone I was in the wilderness. It took all of my strength and mental energy to fight back the tears. I knew that crying wouldn't get me out of this mess, and the only thing that I could really do right now was just to soldier on overnight. By the time I'd set up base, it was now -3 degrees, and I went in search of some fresh drinking water. As I walked through the frosty grass towards a nearby farmhouse, I didn't know what to think anymore. I just felt completely lost and completely exhausted. I continued to make the short journey between my tent and the farmhouse hose to refill my water bottle a total of 5 times so that I could cook myself a hot meal and make myself a hot water bottle. With every step that I took, I felt more and more exhausted. It would have been far too easy to have gone to bed hungry, but I refused to give up. I knew that if I started skipping meals on the trip, it wouldn't be a success and it wouldn't be long before I'd eventually collapse. So I persevered and just forced myself to keep going. A lot of you have commented on my previous videos that this trip looks more like torture than it does a holiday. And truth be told, yeah, there were times when it was really bad.
Oh, I cannot begin to express how unbelievably cold it is right now. Oh my god. So it's 9 PM. I'm currently just making some hot water. It's my hot water bottle.
But the reason that I've been doing this is that I've taken on this challenge to raise money for the Northwest Air Ambulance. And although there were days when it was tough and I felt like giving up, I reminded myself that there were people on the side of the road who also felt like giving up as well. And if being a little teary and being a little cold meant giving the gift of life to another biker, then I was prepared to don a brave face and just try to keep it together.
Do you want to see how cold it is? Look, Ma, I'm a dragon. I'm freezing.
However, I'll be the first to admit the cold did make me a little hysterical.
Can we all just stop and appreciate my duck down bed socks and my wool pants? I've currently got my heated jacket plugged into a battery and just top it all off. I have a nice hot water bottle. So all in all, I think it's safe to say I'm going to be a cozy girl. Oh gosh.
Ignorantly, I was not a cozy girl because there was no amount of heat that could have saved me from the cold that night.
So, it's currently 5 AM. It's so cold I had to get up and make a hot drink. Nuts. Unless I'm going to top up my hot water bottle. So, it's currently 5 in the morning. As you can probably tell, it's very cold. It's so cold. I don't think I've done too badly, to be fair. I've been fairly warm all night. It's just my hot water bottle now run out of heat. So I'm going to make a hot drink. So I'm going to make a hot drink and then get another 2 hours sleep before setting off.
I slept for another 2 hours, and once dusk started to descend upon me, I began to pack up my belongings and hope that I could be on the road for sunrise.
So we're up, awake, ready. In Poland. We're going to cross the border today.
Smile upon my face, 'cause there's excitement in the chase, this I know. Yeah, I'm going for the ride, and by myself I am alive.
So I'm currently brushing my teeth with the mountains in the background. But more importantly, next to a dead mouse. More importantly, that wasn't there yesterday. So what I want to know is what brought it here. If this is it, cold halfway up. I dread to think what it'll be like at the top of the mountains. So now presenting man.
We are all looking for adventure. Oh, wake up heart and wake up mind.
Oh
See, the
dear.
world is yours to find and know.
Oh dear.
With every passing day, there's more. Calling you out to explore. Get up and go. There is joy found in the race, and I feel it in the place where I'm free. And I simply can't deny it, that I feel adventure calling out to me. Yeah, we are all looking for adventure. 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 We are all looking for And I'm living free, living free, living free, and I was meant to be. Living free, living free, living free, and I was meant to be. I'm living free, living free, living free, and I was meant to be. Living free, living free, living free, and I was meant to be. I'm living free, living free, living free, and I was meant to be. Living free, living free, living free, and I was meant to be. I'm living free, living free, living free, and I was meant to be. Living free, living free, living free, and I was meant to be. I'm living free, living free, living.
After 4 hours of riding on the road and a terrible night's sleep, I realised just how tired I was, and all of the enthusiasm I had from the morning was gone. My body was crashing. I decided to make the decision to jump on the motorway for an hour to get to Zakopane and call it a day. This morning, before setting off for my camping spot, I made the decision that I was going to book a hotel just outside the city so that I could take a hot shower and also try to catch up on some sleep. As I pulled up to the hotel, there was one major issue. Well, it turns out there was 2 hotels with the same name, and I arrived at the wrong one, an hour away from where I was actually staying. I either had to ride a further 90 minutes to the other hotel or fork out for this one. I decided just to pay twice because at this point I felt like it wouldn't be safe for me to continue riding when I was this tired. The moment I walked through that hotel room, knowing I was finally safe and sound, I don't know what happened, but suddenly I felt like all of my emotions hit me like a brick in the face. The lack of sleep, the pain I was feeling, and every single difficult moment up until this point that I had not allowed myself to get upset about, it all just came out like a floodgate. I tried so incredibly hard to fight back the tears, but the thought of being so far away from home, alone in another country on the eastern side of Europe, the thought of how long I was going to be on the road for, I don't know what it was, but I just couldn't stop crying. This trip was so much harder mentally and physically than I ever could have imagined, and I'd finally reached a point in my journey where I just couldn't hold back the tears any longer. I continued to cry for the entirety of the night until eventually I just fell asleep from exhaustion. Next week on Saffy Sprocket.
Hi guys, my name's Saffy Sprocket and welcome back to the channel. Now if you're watching this, I'm currently travelling on the road to help raise money for the charity the Northwest Air Ambulance. Now I'm currently joined with James, who's one of the helicopter pilots. Now James, I know that helicopters can often get, a lot closer to certain areas than most other vehicles, but where exactly can you land?
So our rules are we need an area 25 metres square free from obstructions, which is twice the length of the helicopter, and we judge this by simply flying to the scene of the accident. We will fly around at 500 feet and we will just visually look for somewhere that we think is safe and suitable. So car parks, playing fields, or even on the motorway or the dual carriageway itself.
That is amazing. Now I know that a lot of people will be aware of the service, but not a lot of people will know that it is charity funded. Is that correct?
Absolutely correct, 100% charity funded, and we would not be flying without people's generous donations.
That is a phenomenal work, like it genuinely is. Now, if you guys would like to learn more about the Northwest Air Ambulance, or if you'd like to make a donation, you can scroll down to the description below where you'll find a link and you can click through to do that. Until next week, my name's Saffy Sprocket, signing off.